Hello, this is Daniel Ball Wrestling. I am your host, Daniel, and well, I wasn't expecting to be recording a podcast today. I was considering reviewing the Sakura Genesis show, but I'm full of a cold, so I thought, you know what, I'll just do the WrestleMania preview show tomorrow. How stupid I was, because a huge moment in wrestling for this year, massive moment in British wrestling, certainly. This morning, about an hour and a half ago, Will Ospreay defeated Kota Ibushi in a 30-minute classic match to become the first ever English IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. I think going into the match, I had a little bit of an inkling that Ospreay could win. Before the match, if you was doing betting on it, you'd probably say, 75% sure Ibushi'd win, 25% Ospreay, because New Japan have been known to, they'll tell the big long story, they'll put the belt on the babyface, then they'll take it away from them and put it on the heel. Examples of that in recent times, you had Tanahashi defeating Kenny Omega at Wrestle Kingdom, and then a month later, the heel Jay White had taken the belt off him, and they used that to really, push Jay White into the main event scene. They did it at the end of the pandemic, well, not the end of the pandemic, but when they reopened last summer, they took the belt off Naito after telling the big long story of him winning the double championships at Wrestle Kingdom, and they put the belt on Evil. That was definitely a failed experiment. Some people might disagree, but I think the majority of us can agree that was a bit of a failure. It was disappointing, but it does look like they've done that again with Ospreay. Now, I'm not saying that Ospreay is going to have a short reign. Maybe he'll go on to have a long reign. I certainly hope so. But putting the belt on him, it's a huge, huge moment for Ospreay. A lot of us, it was always going to happen at some point. Listen, no matter what you think of Ospreay, which I hate having to even justify that, but Will Ospreay, no matter what anyone thinks, is, for me, I've got him up there. I personally think he is the best wrestler in the world. I think most people, if they're being honest, would definitely have him in their top 5. So it was always going to be a matter of time before New Japan eventually pushed the button and put the IWGP Heavyweight Championship on a Will Ospreay. As I said, it happened a little bit sooner than people might have expected. I think it's a good thing. This is notoriously a bit of a down period for New Japan in most years it is, which is the reason why I didn't think they'd put the belt in, because upcoming there's obviously the Wrestling Dontaku shows at the start of May. We've got a stadium show middle of May. We've got the Tokyo Dome at the end of May. So I was thinking maybe they'd want, Ibushi to have the belt going in there, a big star. Do you know what I mean? He's more like, do you know what I'm saying? He's more like main eventer. He's an established main eventer, whereas Ospreay's just on the way there. So I thought maybe they'd do a Bushi Tanahashi, a Bushi Okada one night. But they didn't do that, and I think New Japan have realised that they needed change. A lot of people criticised their previous year. Do you know what I mean? By the looks of this, we're not going to have to see Naito versus Evil main events with all the interfering bollocks. It is nice with the United Empire. Obviously, Toanari debuted earlier in the show as part of this stable, so they've now got 4 people in this stable. But it is nice to have a heel faction where it's not all about interfering, low blows. We've had all that with Bullet Club for what feels like forever now. Jay White sort of had his own group that does it. Evil's got his own group as part of Bullet Club that do it, so it has got a little bit. I can handle Jay White doing it because he's been doing it for years, but when Evil comes along and does it, it was getting a little bit irritating. But now, the main event scene with Ospreay as champion is looking very, very tasty. We're going to talk about the match first. Then we'll talk about stuff after it. But the match itself, I don't want it to get lost in the actual overall moment of the thing of Ospreay winning. But the match I thought was, I think my match of the year up until now was Ibushi Jay White at Wrestle Kingdom. I thought that was, although there was a lot of interfering in that, it does have to be said. I do think that match was on another level. It went about 50 minutes. There was interfering, but the storytelling in it, it was just great. For me, match of the year, don't even have to think about it. But then this match came along. It was different. It didn't go as long. It only went 30 minutes. But these two obviously started their story at Wrestle Kingdom. I'm not sure of the number, but it was Wrestle Kingdom in 2019. And these two were amazing in the ring together. They had that match at Wrestle Kingdom 2019. It opened the show. This is when Ospreay was still a junior. Ospreay went over Ibushi in that match. I think was it the debut of the Hidden Blade move, concussed Ibushi, and they had that amazing spot on the Road 2 shows before where Ospreay like lands on his feet and then does the whole staring thing at Ibushi. They called back to that in this match. But the match starts, the brawling on the outside, Ospreay rolls in, and he's getting red shoes to count, which basically just signals that, look, he's willing to do anything that it takes to win the belt. And I thought, are they doing that because maybe they're going to have a screwy finish? I hope not. Other spot in the match, obviously, these two work incredible together. They're two of the best wrestlers in the world, obviously. Ospreay broke his nose, 3 weeks ago now? Was it 3 weeks? He had that match with Zack Sabre on the Sunday. So it's Saturday, Sunday. That was a great match as well. Ibushi hits a flying knee to Ospreay's nose. Ospreay sells it like he's dead. We get some great spots. Ibushi's like over the top rope. Ospreay hits the shooting star press on the top rope. Then he hits it off the top rope. So he hits 2 shooting star presses for the 2 count. The only downside of the match, we did get a bit of a weird spot where like Ospreay like jumps off the rope. Ibushi catches him. But it's like they couldn't quite work out what they were doing. Ibushi drops him a few times. And that was one awkward part of the match. But Ibushi does recover from it because he drops him to the ground and immediately sells his back, which was worked on, which obviously, you can get away with. And then they're about 25 minutes in and they're having this really, really strong match. And I'm thinking this is the match that I wanted to see at Wrestle Kingdom all those years ago. And then it just goes into a completely different planet. Absolutely incredible. We get the Poison Rana that I alluded to. Poison Rana. Ospreay lands on his feet off the Poison Rana. So call back to obviously. I was sat watching this and I screamed, what a callback! Callback where he lands on his feet. The gif was all over Twitter. I can't do it justice by explaining it, but he does that. And then as he's doing it, Ibushi hits the Poison Rana off the mat. Ospreay rolls to the outside. And then as he's on the outside, Ibushi does that suplex where he lifts them in and suplexes them over the top rope. It's a brutal spot. Ospreay lands right on his head. I was thinking, please don't be concussed, but it seemed to be alright after it. But that was brutal. They need to pretty much cut down on Ospreay landing on his head. But it was a great spot, great visual. And then we get Ibushi kicking out the Oz Cutter. The Oz Cutter is like a move where Ospreay always used to get the 3 count with it, but there has been like a few 2s creeping in recently. It's not really his number 1 finishing move at the moment. That would be the Hidden Blade and the Stormbreaker. But then we get Ibushi. He counters the Stormbreaker. I'm not really good at calling matches, but this was that good. I really want to do it justice. Ibushi counters the Stormbreaker, hits the Flying Kamigoye, hits another Kamigoye. So he's 2 Kamigoyes and I'm thinking it's over. Really good match. What a shame. I was hoping that Ospreay would win, but wasn't expecting it. Ibushi's going to win this. And Ospreay kicks out. And that was when I was like, oh, where are they going with this? Sometimes in New Japan, someone can kick out of a finisher and then bang, they just hit it straight away and that's the match over. Ibushi goes for the 3rd Kamigoye, but Ospreay rolls him up for the 2 count. And we get an Ospreay hook kick. And then Ospreay himself hits a running Kamigoye, Hidden Blade, Stormbreaker. We get the great moment where after he hits the Hidden Blade, the timekeeper shouts, 30-minute pass, 30-minute pass. And that just played into the drama of it all as Ospreay hits his Stormbreaker. And I thought, it's over! Hidden Blade, Stormbreaker, nobody kicks out of that. And indeed, that was the case. The Hidden Blade and the Stormbreaker is so protected from Ospreay. And that was it. Will Ospreay, the new IWGP Heavyweight Champion. I'm not really one to have favourite wrestlers, but the amount of abuse Ospreay has got off people on social media these last few years, while he continues to be the guy who's putting on the best wrestling matches for all of us. Shingo is up there with him, probably Kenny Omega, Okada's up there, but Ospreay is just on another level. He's been brilliant. I think he deserves it. I hate the phrase he deserves it, but he's earned it. He has earned it. He is the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, and yeah, just a great moment. And just for all these people that complain, it's just a big fuck you. We don't care. This guy is the best. We're putting our belt on him, and it was just a great match. Great moment. And then Ospreay gets on the mic, and I thought, right, you're a heel, Will. Yeah? Give it to him. Give it to him. And he picks up the mic. He goes all Conor McGregor, and he's like, look, I've done a lot of bad things. I can admit that. But I would like to take this opportunity to apologise to absolutely nobody. And I was like, that is fucking brilliant. He's a heel, so he's pissing people off with this. It's absolutely brilliant. I mean, whenever I go out on a night out and I piss someone off, I'll occasionally send a video of, I'd like to take this chance to apologise to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the fuck he wants. Sorry, terrible Irish accent, but the coffee's kicking in. But yeah, fucking brilliant touch to the promo. It was absolutely perfect. Ospreay just shows he knows what to do with stuff like this. And then I was thinking, flipping heck. No, I'm waiting on Twitter for the complaints about this. Ospreay screams, God is dead. Ibushi obviously is going around saying that he's God. So on Easter Sunday, we've got Will Ospreay shouting, God is dead. I just thought, Jesus, Twitter's going to have Jesus, sorry, pardon the pun. Ospreay is going to have, Twitter is going to have a field day with this. But, hey, we'll see. But then, Ospreay says, look guys, the story isn't over, which just, New Japan is back. With this story, they are back. I mean, everyone says it's been awful, but I've always been petitioning how great the wrestling's been in New Japan this year. We've had 7 or 8 5-star matches around that mark. Last year, yeah, the evil shit was crap. But, hey, Ospreay and Okada, as many of us have wanted, are going to have this story probably over the next 5 years where it's going to be similar to Okada Tanahashi. I think they're probably going to have numerous matches at Wrestle Kingdom. I think they're obviously going to have a match in a few months. But if people are saying, oh, I hate the theory of, we've seen this match before. Listen, that doesn't matter. Okada Tanahashi. How many matches have Okada Tanahashi had? They had the 3 Wrestle Kingdom matches, but it weren't like they weren't meeting each other like at random like live events in between. So Okada Tanahashi must have had at least 12, 13, 14, 15 matches during that period. Singles matches. So I'm all for it. Let's have them face each other at one of the, maybe at the stadium show, maybe at the Dome show. And yeah, just keep it going. It wouldn't surprise me. I think Ospreay will... Basically, anyway. So Okada comes out. Ospreay challenges Okada, calls him out. Then Shingo comes out and says, look, I should be first in line. I beat Okada, even though Ospreay's beat him twice. But hey, they're going with that. I am not going to complain about seeing another Ospreay-Shingo match. But I think Ospreay will probably retain against Shingo. This is what I think they'll do. I could be wrong. I think Ospreay will retain against Shingo at Wrestling Dontaku. They will have Okada take the belt off Ospreay, which is fine. I would like to see the reign be a little bit longer, but it's fine. Do you know what I mean? It still gets the belt on Ospreay. I think Okada will take the belt off Ospreay at one of either the stadium shows, probably the stadium show, and then they'll go with Okada versus Ibushi at the Tokyo Dome. I do think that's which way they'll go. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll have Okada beat Ospreay at the Tokyo Dome, and then at Dominion we will go with Okada versus Ibushi. But I don't expect it to be a long reign for Ospreay, which is fine. I do think they will transition the belt to Okada, and then we can go forward with Okada versus Ibushi. But we'll see. Maybe they'll give him a long reign. But I do think if you have Okada take the belt off Ospreay, it plays into the longer story of this 4 to 5 year feud we're all expecting them to have. Ospreay can face Okada at Wrestle Kingdom this year, or next year, or the year after. Just keeps the feud going with them. The more Okada-Ospreay matches, the better. They can play up that, look, Ospreay can never beat Okada when it matters, when it counts. I know he got the victory, what was it? Was it the G1? Was it the G1 where he turned heel? But that was with help and shenanigans and stuff. But yeah, they can keep that story going. But it just freshens up the entire main event scene. I mean, the options are endless with Ospreay as champion. If they do want to go the route of having a long reign, you've got opponents like Okada, Shingo Ospreay, Naito Ospreay. We've not seen Naito versus Ospreay yet. Tanahashi Ospreay. They did have a match, didn't they, in the G1. That was a great match. Zack Ospreay. If you ever need for a really good match, you've always got Zack Sabre Jr. versus Will Ospreay. So yeah, plenty. I've probably missed someone out. The options are endless. It does look like they're going to go with Ibushi, Jeff Cobb going forward, because Jeff Cobb did beat down Ibushi after the match. So you're probably going to get Ibushi versus Cobb at either Dontaku, one of the stadium shows, and then that'll probably lead towards Ibushi either getting a rematch. It's either going to be Ibushi getting a rematch at the Dome against Ospreay, or it's going to be, I think it'll be Okada versus Ibushi. But we'll see. Maybe they'll give Ospreay a long reign. But yeah, the promo after the match was great. We had Ospreay even put on his Conor McGregor type robe after the match for the interview backstage. It was just great. Ospreay, I've already seen snowflakes hating on Twitter, but I think we're just past the stage of it now. They're just going to have to accept, look, either don't watch New Japan if you're going to cry about stuff like this. Just don't watch it. Just forget about it. Do you know what I mean? Or just put it to one side and get on with it. Just get on with it. Some actors, yeah, they might not be the people you want them to be, but you still go and watch the fucking movies, or you won't go and watch the movies. Do you know what I mean? It's as simple as that. Just don't watch if you're going to... I mean, what are we going to get to the point where whenever we watch a film, we've got to do research on the people in it to make sure they didn't do something that, like, is frowned upon in it? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, everybody does bad things at some point in their life, yeah? Nobody's perfect, right? Can we just please get past this? This generation, this era, it's just full of, well, what's it going to be next? Jay White didn't pay for an apple at a supermarket when he was 8 years old. Let's cancel him. I'm not watching Jay White matches anymore. I know what Ospreay is alleged to have done is a bit more serious, but it's boring to speak about. I'm done speaking about it. I just want to talk about the wrestling. That's it. Shouldn't be that hard, but can't do anything. These social media is a fucking pain in the ass. The only thing it's good for is promoting stuff. But yeah. Will Ospreay, IWGP Heavyweight Champion. Go and watch the match. 5-star match. 5-star moment, 5-star promo after it, and yeah, Will Ospreay, the new IWGP Heavyweight Champion.